Alright guys, welcome back to episode 5 of Lim's podcast. Yeah, I'm just going to call it Lim's podcast. Today's topic is actually quite a sensitive one, as you can see from the title below. And if you guys are new to the channel or new to this kind of format, again, there's not going to be a lot of B-rolls. It's just going to be us talking a little bit about the current state of some situations that I have on my mind. And you guys are free to leave your comments down in the comment section below because I really want to hear your thoughts. And it's also good to see what other people think about the same situation. So anyway, today we have here the OnePlus 15, and I've been using the phone for a bit. And again, I would say the topic today is all about, is OnePlus dead? Is it still relevant today? Especially from the landscape of someone who lives in Malaysia. Maybe you guys are in Southeast Asia or any other parts of the world. But in our markets, we have phones like Vivo, Oppo, blah, 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 all the good brands, Honor, Huawei, and all that together in this market, which is very, very competitive. And the reason why it got me thinking, like, is OnePlus dead? Is because when I first received this device, which honestly speaking, I received mine a bit late because I was traveling, hence why this video is so slow. But it doesn't matter. We want to discuss really, what are your thoughts? Do you think OnePlus is still relevant today? Now, don't get me wrong, I love this device and I'm personally a huge OnePlus fan ever since the start. In fact, I still have my trusty OnePlus 11 over here. Take a look at how gorgeous this device looks. I even got my really nice screen protector at the front. So it's all in matte, beautiful, beautiful device, which I really love, and that's the reason why I still keep it until today. But back then, things were really good, I would say. Today, I think it's kind of missing its identity. So for starters, the price of this device is RM4399 here in Malaysia. And back then, OnePlus always tend to be sort of like the flagship killer, where it can really fight with other devices in the market. For instance, when we talk about flagships, maybe what might come to your mind might be the Vivo X300 Pro, or perhaps even the Oppo Find X9 Pro, or the upcoming Honor Magic 8 Pro, and the list goes on and on and on. So at the price of RM4399, again, this is very closely priced to the Vivo X300 Pro, and I think it's not really in a great position to be like the flagship killer. But let's not think of it as a flagship killer. How about we look at the device alone, on its own? How does its specs and overall feel stack up to something like the other devices? So if we just take a look at the specs, I mean, a lot of you probably already know the device itself has faced a spec downgrade, not just in terms of the lower resolution display, not just in terms of getting a smaller camera, but the haptics is also apparently not as good as the one before. So there's quite a fair bit of downgrades going on with the OnePlus 15, which is sort of a shame. But okay, here's what I think. After using it for a bit, I want to talk a bit more about the positive first. So what I really like here is actually the design. I mean, the design is actually pretty similar to the Oppo device. They're pretty much a copy-paste kind of situation going on here. There's no difference at all. But what I like here is actually the colors that OnePlus provided, and this is called the Sandstorm. I know this particular material at the back here is sort of like plastics and you'll get scratched very easily, but the frame itself is extremely tough. I just like this colorway because it has those essentials vibes. It just looks very minimalist and it's kind of my kind of color tone that I love. But one thing about this frame, guys, it's really so hard to the point that I actually put it side by side with my other phones, and it actually scratched up my other devices, screen protector and all that. So it's really tough, and I found out the hard way because it started scratching all my other devices. So it's not just marketing, gaming and all that. It's really a tough device. The back might not be that tough, but overall, I still think it's a good look going on here, which I like very much. Now, the second thing that I like here is obviously in terms of the performance. So we do get that Snapdragon Elite 8 Gen 5, whatever, latest flagship chipset. It's super powerful. In fact, it outscored a couple of my other Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 devices. So you're getting extremely smooth animations and everything going on this device here. In fact, quick pause right there. Even though we have a downgraded display in terms of resolution, honestly speaking, I wasn't able to tell with my own eyes. Even if I had two devices side by side, I might not be even able to tell the difference between a slightly lower res display compared to what we have before. Unless your eyes can really tell the differences between the pixels, then that might be a true issue. But again, honestly, you can't really tell the difference, but it just doesn't feel good to know that your phone's display has been downgraded compared to its predecessor. But rest assured, the display is actually a pretty good display and it was able to get very bright even though I was outdoors under the sun. And of course, you still have that large battery, the fast charging, but that's where the goodies stop. And I think one main downside is because of the downgrade in the cameras. Previously, maybe you have the Hasselblad on their older devices, in fact just last gen, which makes the pictures look a little bit more special, which is what you would get on the Oppo Find X9 Pro now, but you don't get that. I just took it out for a couple of shots earlier on, and pictures does look very uninspiring. I mean, at times they were oversaturated, and the telephoto lens, the zoom lens itself isn't even that great. There's a lot of noise involved, and it looks a bit like the color painted kind of effect coming off the back cameras. So even though I tried very much to love this device, I really can't see myself using this as my main daily driver. Furthermore, throw in the price of RM4399, which is just 300 ringgit lower than the X300 Pro, the starting variant of course. And it just gives you a lot of question marks as to why you might want to actually get one of these devices. So if you ask me, who is really the one changing the game with really good specifications, sort of similar to the OnePlus, I would say the dark horse actually showed up in the form of the Realme GT8 Pro. Now this device is actually very similar spec to the OnePlus. I mean, obviously they all come from the same family. Just take a look at them, guys. They all come from the same family, but I think the Realme device, even though it's not a very well-known brand, and just brand-wise, OnePlus just sounds more attractive than Realme, but this device here actually comes with a lot of really cool and creative ideas, such as the Ricoh GR camera, which I talked about in my previous video. It's got that Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 as well, an even higher resolution display compared to the OnePlus 15, and the price is not launched yet, but I'm expecting it to undercut the OnePlus device by quite a fair bit. So if you're really looking for something slightly upper the range, more closer to a flagship killer, I think this might actually be it. And if you are really budget strapped, obviously the upcoming Poco, something is coming out. I'm already testing that, so that might actually be a flagship killer as well. So yeah, guys, please enlighten me. What do you guys think of the current state of OnePlus? Are they just an alternative? I don't know, like what is going on here? Why is Oppo treating OnePlus this way? If you want to talk about back then also, I almost forgot one thing. One of their main strengths has to be the Oxygen OS. But these days, Oxygen OS is so diluted. I mean, you can find it pretty much the same, almost 99% the same as Color OS, or even Realme UI for that matter. They all look and feel the same. Their widgets are more or less the same. In fact, the entire UI is almost identical. So you're not really missing out if you get a Realme device because you save a couple bucks. Or if you really want the best cameras, it's not that far away. You can either go for the Vivo or the Oppo. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think. What's going on with OnePlus? Do you think this is a device that you might still actually get? Is the OnePlus 15 still something that excites you? What do you think about the spec downgrades that the OnePlus 15 is getting? Is it because they're downgrading it so that they can upgrade it in the OnePlus 16? These days we have like new iterations every half year and all that. So maybe they're just moving too fast, so they got to put it down so they can go back up again. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Also, given the chance, would you actually pick a Realme GT8 Pro over the OnePlus 15? Or will you jump straight to the Oppo Find X9 Pro? Or maybe just get the Vivo X300 Pro? These guys are all from the same parent company, guys. Take a look at that, a closer look. And with that, we end our quick Tech Talk session for today. Thank you guys for watching all the way to the end, and I look forward to seeing your comments down below. I'll see y'all in the next video, which is going to be super exciting because that's going to be the real, perhaps, flagship killer. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great week ahead. Bye-bye.